Hey film fans, so I just finished watching Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix for probably about the 1000th time, as this is one of my favorite movies in the franchise, and if you haven't seen my other reviews, I am a giant Harry Potter fan. And doing the series without bias has been extremely difficult, so please bear with me on that. So, now in his 5th year at Hogwarts, Harry learns that many in the wizarding community do not know the truth of his encounter with Lord Voldemort. Cornelius Fudge, the Minister for Magic, appoints his toady Dolores Umbridge as defense against the Dark Arts teacher, for he fears that Professor Dumbledore will take his job. But her teaching is deficient, of her methods cruel, so Harry prepares a group of students to defend the school against a rising tide of evil. This film has 78% on the Rotten Tomato meter, and I think it deserves just a little bit higher than that. I'm not saying like 90-100 range, but I think it deserves a little bit more than a 78%. This movie, during its time in the box office, cleared $292 million and was released July 11th, 2007. Yet again, this movie has another new director, David Yates, and it is the darkest movie of the franchise so far. This film takes it into a whole different direction, where you really start to see that like childhood innocence and that kid factor vanish, and it becomes like very adult, very young adult-ish in this film in particular. Somehow, this film looks as amazing as it does and only had a $150 million budget for production. That's not high end, that's not low end, that's a comfortable middle, but for the amount of CGI that goes into this, especially with, you know, the Testrals and the battle for the Ministry of Magic, the prophecies, them falling, the archway, just every little thing ties together in this film perfectly for what they had to work with, and it blew away a lot of audiences during that time. This, somehow, they were able to take the longest Harry Potter book in the series and turn it into the shortest Harry Potter movie. So you can imagine there are quite a few details here that are missing, that are not in the movie, they're in the book. I mean, for how he streamlined it and the way the process played out, even though there are details missing, it fits together, it goes together nicely, it's flawless, it's a smooth transition, so there's none of that really big gap where you jump from A to B, or from B to like 10. There's no gaps there. It's definitely very, very smooth. This movie, guys, this movie has one of the most annoying characters you could ever possibly imagine to see on a screen. It's terrible. We see Umbridge, this pink, cat-crazed, psychotic lady, comes storming in and becomes like a medieval torturer. Her methods are terrible. She inflicts pain on minors at this time, because they are supposed to be only 15 in this film. All behind the Ministry of Magic's back, but it's fine because they're plotting against the Ministry and there's an army. What says fine about torturing minors in this film, honestly? Like, Umbridge is the most annoying character, and I could probably go on a rant for X amount of hours about how much she gets on my nerves. But this film, we see a big difference. Now, all along, Harry thinks Snape hates him, where you see two very different versions of teachers that apparently hate him. In Prisoner of Azkaban, there's a scene where Lupin transforms into a werewolf because he didn't take his potion, and Snape jumps in front of Ron, Harry, and Hermione to protect them from the werewolf. But he's supposed to hate Harry. Wouldn't you think he was like, oh, I'll just let the werewolf get him, like, whatever, it's fine. No. Then you see in this film where Umbridge hates him, and she's holding him and Hermione in front of her wand, forcing them to walk deep into the Forbidden Forest. There's a big difference there between the two teachers that apparently hated him. Like, this is huge. This is a big accomplishment, and it's like, Snape does care. and I didn't pick up on this right away because I was younger whenever the series did come out, but it's like Snape does care, and then you see the teacher that actually hates him, and there's two very different, very clashing personalities. One of the things I never really understood about this particular novel or this particular movie is how in Prisoner of Azkaban he blows up his aunt, and Fudge is like, it happens, it's fine, don't worry about it. And in this one, he's brought before an entire wizard jury for protecting a muggle. Did somebody miss the memo here? Blowing up your aunt or saving someone's life? Which one is kind of a little... It's probably a misuse of magic, right? Blowing up your aunt? Saving a muggle. I guess it depends on which side of the spectrum you are, whether you're pure blood, half blood, muggle-born. I don't think it matters. But this should never have happened. Because it's like, you go from one extreme to the other, and there's like, what? Like, I get it. It's because Harry and Dumbledore are supposedly plotting against the Ministry. They're taking all courses of action. But I mean, I could see if he was attacking a muggle, but not saving one. Doesn't make any sense to me. The introduction of the Order is great. It definitely leads into a new storyline where you have the secret society. Okay, you have all these guys that went to school together. Okay, you have all these people that have battled together, against Voldemort before. And all of that is now just leading up to the final battle. And I think the introduction of a secret order into the franchise was a really, really good move on J.K. Rowling's part, because it brought a new storyline into the film that just coincided perfectly with the original storyline, which is Harry versus Voldemort. And this just works. It works. And I was really excited whenever this new storyline came out because, you use secret societies and all that, right? In this film, Harry really emerges into becoming a leader, especially because he starts teaching Defense Against the Dark Arts classes inside a hidden room in the school. And he leads them into battle, and he leads them into, he just really steps out as that leader and that person that's going to do something and make a change, who's going to be on the front lines of, this is going to change, this is how we're going to do it, and then let's go do it. It's not all talk, it's finally you see the actions of a leader beginning to come out in this film, and I absolutely adored it. It's great to see him step up to that plate and be like, we're doing this is how we're going to do it, let's go. It was perfect. The most terrible part of this film is Sirius getting killed, and that's probably a spoiler alert for some of you, but there was no need for this. It didn't add to the storyline. It didn't take away from the storyline. He didn't have to die, and Harry only had a godfather for like 2 films. 2 films he had family. It didn't add to the storyline, didn't take away from it, and there was no need to just kill him off. Like, there was no need for this. It was just uncalled for. And this particular scene, if you've ever wondered why Harry is muted, it's because his screams were so real and so gut-wrenching that it caused Helen Bowman Carter and Emma Watson to cry on set, because that's how real these screams were. This film, we finally get to see the Voldemort versus Dumbledore and their first battle together. This battle that goes on is the true fight that Dumbledore deserved and not the one he actually ended up getting. You can definitely tell, there's just a surge of feelings, and Voldemort's like, I'm gonna get you, and Dumbledore's like, don't even try it, like, good luck with that, like, good luck. But this battle definitely is one of the first that you see with Voldemort versus Dumbledore, and I think a lot of viewers were upset with the true death that Dumbledore gets, and I think this is the way they expected him to go out, in a shower of sparks and spells and broken glass and pieces of, bricks falling down, not how he actually comes to an end, and I think as well that he did deserve better than that. So for this particular reason, I'm going to give this movie a 4 out of 5 on the Rotten Tomatoes scale. That's it for this review, film fans. We'll see you all in the next one.